Greetings. I'm George Boston Ryan with the Get To Free Press, and our slogan is that we report what others ignore. This morning I want to be brief, and I want to talk about the areas that I have covered over these many years that has been ignored by your mainstream news media here in Valdosta, Georgia, such as the Valdosta Daily Times, CBS, NBC, Fox, and others, including the radio stations. I have covered many stories and events such as the Quitman 10+2, the Madison, Florida 9, and you can Google on this channel, Georgia newly elected and mistreated black elected officials. But the news media do not, will not, and could care less about republishing and reporting real news in the black community. I get criticized for that and called many dirty names, and I wear them as a badge of honor in the hope that CBS, NBC, ABC, and the rest of them, including MSNBC, Al Sharpton, and the rest of them, I'm hoping that they will come in and call me a liar and put me on their TV stations so I can take the heat from what they bring up against me. When I say to you that in the KJ attorney fees case, Judge Richard Porter III was sleeping during most every aspect of that case, and the news media witnessed this, including reporters from the Valdosta Daily Times, but the general public was never informed about it except through social media. That means the Valdosta Daily Times, NBC, CBS, ABC, WSB out of Atlanta, they all ignore that as if though it's okay in the state of Georgia, as though it is approved by the Southern Judiciary that any judge can sleep, consecutively, in any court case and still render in the case that involves approximately $1 million. Now, I could go and talk about the subject of Walmart Stores Incorporated, how they mistreat their own workers. I put documented proof on the screen in 2008 about how they deny a black person the right to 42 pages of their own literature to train department managers, and they denied it to one black person here at store 2615 in the city of Valdosta, Georgia. You would think that the news media would rush in to interview that person so he could tell his story to the general public. When you see the news media ignores that mayors across the state of Georgia, black, ask for forensic audits to account for taxpayers' dollars, and the news media in the Middle District of Georgia and across the state of Georgia just ignores that and refuse to publish it when their own finance chair says that monies, taxpayers' dollars, are being misappropriated. Yet the white-owned, white-dominated, and white-controlled mainstream news media will not publish that for reasons yet to be determined. I could go on, but please Google Georgia newly elected black officials. Well, let's go to one more. Let's go to Port St. Joe, Florida. I was down there where black people's home was built on toxic waste dumps. The homes sinking in the middle. Their kitchen one-sided. The roof falling in. And they can't get any news media coverage. I sent this information when I was down there years ago to all of the major news media networks. And do you know, they all ignored the problem that those black tax-paying citizens were suffering there in Port St. Joe, Florida. Now, all you do, Google George Boston Rhymes at Port St. Joe, and you can see for yourself. So we as black people must wake up and understand that the white Americans never intend to treat you justly. Now, we know not all whites, but those in power want to hold on to power. And they just will not see you as a human or as a human being. Now, that's not a figment of my imagination. You can get angry with me, but I can show you documented proof that they never intended for you to be treated with equal justice under the law here in the United States of America. I can prove that to you. And you can prove it to yourself if you would only get rid of your racist Uncle Tom and Aunt Jane mind and weigh the facts. Now, let me close, but I'm omitting a lot of areas, believe me. But I'm going to come back to Valdosta because, as far as I'm concerned, as long as I've been talking about how the Valdosta Daily Times, the TV stations and radio stations ignores the news in the black community, and just like my criminal trespass, I'm under a criminal trespass by Wes Taylor for 4 years and 9 months. The Valdosta Daily Times has not interviewed me not one time. CBS has not interviewed me not one time, nor any other local, state, or national news media outlet, and it's dealing with First Amendment rights. The news media and newspaper don't understand that what they're doing to me soon gonna be knocking on their door, and they will have contributed to their own demise by denying me the right of freedom of movement. So that's another story, but it's all on YouTube. Just Google George Boston Rhymes criminal trespass, and you will see how no editor at the Valdosta Daily Times, no reporter in any South Georgia television station, no radio station have ever called me in. And you know why I'm under this criminal trespass? Because I was involved in reporting in the Kendrick Johnson's accident or murder case. That's all it could be. This is what people are telling me, both black and white. But they won't touch that. No national news media. They'll talk about the KJ death, but they won't talk about why they put me on a criminal trespass as a retired military veteran, and I violated no law. Now, let's talk about something else, and I'm gonna close this out, if I could. You say, well, Rhymes, you just lying, and you keep talking and bringing up racist issues that are dealing with the black and white issue, but can you prove what you're saying? Yes, I can. I can even prove about the black mayors I'm talking about. But let me hit this right quick. I received a call from an elderly lady in the Hudson Docket area, apartments, if I may say so, and it is federally funded, by the way. It's called Valdosta Housing Authority, Hudson Docket area. This was probably 10, 20 years, I guess. I'm not sure, about 20 years. I got a call, and when I went there, the mother walked me through the back and showed me that was during the summer. Say school kids in the Hudson Docket area don't have nowhere to play. And she said swings are broken. I didn't believe her. So all I did was took a walk. And I took a walk, and this is what I saw. See them splinters? Those are splinters right there. If kids catch their hands on those, you know what happens. Yeah, and that's what they put out there for the black kids and the poor white kids in the Hudson Docket area. And let's just say that they wanted to do what the white kids do, maybe take a slide, on the sliding boards, in their community, in their area. Well, these were the sliding boards that was in there for those children. And these are real pictures. I didn't create these pictures, y'all. I didn't doctor these pictures. I just reported what the Valdosta Daily Times, ABC, WALB-TV, CBS, and others would not publish. They didn't have any swings out there, you see. They also had, well, just put it like, that's a dumpster right there, you see. But this is what was out there. And the thing about it, I know you still can say, well, Rhymes, you created that. You know, you just did that to make a point. This is what, and one girl, I'll show you later, one girl had cut her hand out there on something. But I went through it, and the elder lady, she's deceased now, but she thanked me for reporting this. And I didn't just report this, my beautiful brothers and sisters. What did I do? Let me tell you what I did. I went to a public meeting, and you know, in public meetings occur in many cities. They probably have a public meeting in your city. You may not go to them, but they have them. They have the meetings. And this is how I developed these pictures. And I brought all of this before the mayor and council here in the city of Valdosta, Georgia. Wait a minute. Let me show you the other side. You see, I want the American people to know that when you send your sons and your daughters to fight the wars of this nation, believing that you are free and that we have the best government on this side of the world of God's creation, well, I just want you to know that everything that I have published on Boston G.B.R, on YouTube, and on blogger.com, the best of my abilities, I tried my best to give you the best, because your news media, they don't want you to know this. Now, if the news media here in Valdosta, I'll say again, I'm not talking about Alabama, I'm not talking about Atlanta, Albany, I'm talking about in Valdosta. If the Valdosta Daily Times, ABC, NBC, if they wanted you to see this, these things that were right outside little kids playing, that's rust. That is rusty guardrail right there. The kids come out. And little bitty kids, and you know, kids will eat anything. That was rust. And so I took pictures of it, because I know that. I'm retired military, and I have worked in certain areas I can't even talk about right now. But I do know that the federal government requires better living conditions than this for our children. This deceased mother told me, said, Ryan, we have called everybody we can. Will you please come and take a look at what she say, little kids be out in the evening time, and after dark, she say that bats have the little children running in their house when they start coming out. So they be all over the place in swarms. And you know, I didn't believe her. And so I came one night, and I recorded the bats, and they was going in that roof right there. They would just fill the parking lot, the play area with bats. And this is what I presented. Yeah, I presented this to the mayor and to all the black and white city councilmen. That was a girl right here. She had cut her hand. Her mama brought her out, wanted me to get that in the glass that was out there in that federally funded housing area of Hudson Docket here in Valdosta, Georgia. Now, I presented this. That was a hole in the fence, and you know they have drug dealers that came through there, and the rest is history. And so I did this, and I didn't do like some of us white and Uncle Tom and Aunt Jane Negroes. We just see it, sit, say, and do nothing. I recorded it, and I reported it to the mayor and council at a public meeting here in Valdosta, Lowndes County, and in the state of Georgia, and in the United States of America, in God's world. But do you not know? No news media, the Valdosta Daily Times, CBS, NBC, ABC, Fox locally, nobody said nothing about it. And this is what I want black and white people to understand. They just don't give a damn about you, man. If they cared about you the way you care about your country when you go and put your life on the line, some of you mothers and fathers have lost your sons and daughters while in uniform. But when you see this, and it is presented at a public meeting, and the news media will not even publish it to the people. Just like my criminal trespass. See, I can prove it's all been documented, just like I've documented this. I also have it documented that a 14-year-old girl at Pine Grove Middle School was hog-tied with her hand behind her back. They say she struck her educator. The educators came out, gave written statements that it never happened the way that the police officer wrote it up. The Lowndes County Sheriff Department wrote it up, but nothing ever happened. The girl never got justice, and she went to court, and all you have to do is Google a 14-year-old black girl at Pine Grove Middle School and hear the mother and father talk about the injustices. And I went with her to the Valdosta Daily Times editor, and we tried our best to present that case to the people by getting the news media to pay attention. But do you not know? It fell to the ground. All that mother's pain fell to the ground. It just fell on deaf ears. Because once again, our sons and our daughters can fight the wars of this nation, only to fall to the ground when it comes down to having their stories told. And so it does not surprise me when they lied about the Equipment 10+2 voter fraud charges and all the accusations and the lies they brought up on those people. White people lied on the stand. Black Uncle Toms and Aunt James lied on the stand. But in the final analysis, a lot of them think they're going to get away. But this is why I believe in what the Bible says. You can run. You can run, but you can't hide from the eyes of God. For the eyes of God is in every place, beholding the good and the evil. So you can continue to criticize me with the Get Too Free Press and say I'm a racist. Call me all these things. But I don't hear them calling me in to put me in front of the camera so you can hear what I have to say. And I'll stand before anybody in the United States of America on anything that I have ever published. I will stand before the president. I will stand before Jesus, God, Muhammad, Vashtroff, anybody, Moses, Elijah. I will stand before anybody to prove my case that there is something seriously wrong and that the black man, woman, and their children should not even serve in the armed forces until America starts to treat black people with fairness. So I'm going to close now, but before I close, I want to hit this note. Do you not know? I even recorded the conservative radio station here in Valdosta. When they lied, I got it documented. They can say I'm lying, but I got it documented and posted some of it on my YouTube channel. When they talked about the Equipment 10+2 having hundreds of absentee ballots in the trunk of their cars, and that was illegal, and they put all that, ran it all across FM, well, I won't call it a radio station, but I got it all documented. They talked about they need to be brought, and do you not know short form? Let me tell you what happened. All 119 to 200 charges were dropped against the Equipment 10+2 after 4 years. And do you not know no news media would even meet the Equipment 10+2 at the courthouse? News media didn't even attend the trial. A 19-day court voting rights trial over in Brooks County. Valdosta Daily Times wasn't there. CBS wasn't there. NBC wasn't there. ABC wasn't there. Fox wasn't there. MSNBC wasn't there. None of them. The Democratic Party with DeBose Porter is a disgrace because they were Democrats and they cried out to the Democratic Party for help and support and to help tell the story that they were innocent, but they did not show up. They did not show up. And so at the Lula Smart case, they knew they didn't have any charges. They thought those black folk were going to be Uncle Tom's and Aunt Jane and plea bargain, but they didn't. They didn't do that. And so the first trial was a mistrial. The second trial was a mistrial. And by the way, I'll tell you that those first two trials that these white people chose had 1 or 2 blacks on it. That's all. But it was a mistrial. And then they gave the Equipment 10+2 words that we don't pick the jury. It's a computer up in Atlanta that picks the jury. A computer. Isn't that something? So now they got computers that are racist. Yeah, computers now know how to pick only white people to be on the jury. Isn't that something? This is the state of Georgia now. And you know for a fact that many black soldiers, Marines, Coast Guard, and Airmen, and Navy personnel have died for this country. Isn't that something? Now, if you want to refute what I'm saying, MSNBC, Al Sharpton, if you want to refute what I'm saying, file call newspaper, The Nation of Islam. You want to refute what I'm saying, New York Times? All you have to do is call me. Just call me, man. That's all you got to do. I'm all over the internet, my phone, I'm everything. And let's get down to brass tacks. And let's see who is trying to stand up for the founding fathers of this great republic. Bye-bye. We're gone. This is the Get to Free Press, and we report what others ignore. This is your First Amendment right to know without whiteouts from a controlled news media whiteout network. And we are located in Valdosta, Georgia, and we are here to inform, educate, and persuade if necessary. Always keep that in mind. Moreover, I want to say to you that as a community, state, nation, and world, we are not who we claim to be, but who we prove ourselves to be over a given period of time. And if we are a liar, time will tell. And if we are a racist or a hater, time will tell. And our righteous and holy God already know. So you are only fooling yourselves. Again, the Ghetto Free Press. I'm George Foster Ryan.